Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good morning to all of you. We're quite free on top of the grading exercise we are doing now for the final examination. So I'm glad that you spare some time to be with us to have yet another series of BL Casual Chat. And the title of today's chat is actually a coffee talk. Morning coffee. Take up your teaching game for successful blended learning practices. And it's just going to be 1 hour, less than 60 minutes. So I'm not going to be taking so much of your time, but I very much like to talk about the technology and tools that we are subscribed as Uni10 lecturers. I'm Jihanna, and currently the head of BL and VL unit of Teaching and Learning Center, holding the blended learning initiative. So we have big deals coming for the next few semesters, and rest assured that we still have to grab some skills throughout the years to come. And so let's start formally. And this would be the agenda for today. Although it's just a small talk, casual kind of talk. You can see that I've outlined quite a bit of the agenda here, but rest assured I'm going to spend more time talking about the tools. So today I'm just going to talk about the blended learning, just to give you a recap and a summary and how it can benefit if you haven't realized. So how can we benefit this in our classroom as well as in all of our courses? And we're going to spend more time on the BL tools, and this would be on Padlet and also Mentimeter. And of course, I'm going to talk a bit, okay, on the tips for successful blended learning implementation by creating conducive environment. How do we do that? Using the tools as well as engaging the students when they're not paying attention. So this is actually some of the things that we should discuss. After all, we have just concluded our semester. And of course, it's going to be wrapped up as a Q&A session, and I'm going to give you some key takeaways. So without further ado, let's look into the next page here. So remember, this is just a casual talk. So what the plan is to just revise a bit on blended learning initiatives at Uni10, but somehow what I want you to see would be on this. It keeps on going here and there. So what would be blended learning? So on top of the usual definitions of terms that we have been using all the time, blended learning is synonymous with our current practice, whereby from the previous initiative back in 2016 at Uni10, we adopted support blended learning. So blended learning support. So BLS, that one is just merely teaching as usual in the classrooms, and then we are going to take some time, some bits of the students' learning time to focus on their learning by themselves, self-paced, and without guidance. So that was the model that we adopted earlier. But then there's another blended learning coming in. We have the substitute blended learning, but that's not the real topic for the day. But I want to give you somewhat like a clue what's coming, and it's going to be a big decision to move our courses into that kind of implementation. The SBL or substitute blended learning will be there in our timetable, the course outline, and we have to really dedicate ourselves to design fully on how we want to pick the right topics, whether or not it's going to be classroom kind of teaching delivery or face-to-face, or basically we're going to convert everything into online. So that would be regarded as virtual. So this time around for SBL, it's going to be dictated straight away. Sorry, I thought I heard something. Can I go on? Okay, so what was that again? Dictated. So it means that it is part of the course outline that we have to spell out for the students to be expected throughout the whole semester. So this would be the SBL, or substitute blended learning. But all in all, what would be blended learning is a combination between the face-to-face and that of the online, like I'm talking to you right now. So that is the integration of some part of the blended and some part of that of the virtual learning. So as for this, let's move on. Hold on. So we are very clear, I hope. Okay, after all these years, we are very keen in adopting blended learning. So we must know somewhere where we belong. And of course, at BL level 1, everybody has been talking about adopting technology again and again, and then using this technology in our classroom so that it will be the enhanced learning. Everyone should be at the BL level 2, at least in, and then if you are um, thinking about exploring and becoming more creative. So you're going to venture into BL level 3 as well as BL level 4, which is the flipped teaching of the classroom and that of the adaptive learning. But sometimes when it comes to adaptive, that means it is computer aided kind of decision making for the personalization of the student's learning experience. So we've talked about this, and I hope you are well versed with this before we move on to the tools. And rest assured that I'm just going to talk a bit on the benefits, okay, for the BL implementation. Just look and focus on the keywords. We know that by now it provides flexibility, not only for us as well for the students, because they can seemingly learn themselves according to their liking, their time, anywhere, almost every place. So the online materials will be there hosted on Brighton Learning Management System. And of course, when it comes to engagement, it seems like it's not going to stop in the classroom. Somehow the students are going to carry over their learning experiences, or perhaps whatever they have left off from the classroom, they're going to pick it up again when they are settling down in their accommodation or perhaps studying in their groups. So that would be a continuity of the learning. And of course, the most important thing that I've been seeing with the blended learning approach is that we can provide the students with immediate feedback. Why? Because simply because of the tools we're using, it is of electronics or online internet-based tools. Using the learning management system, we can provide quizzes and we can provide instantaneous feedback. So this is very important because students need feedback to have growth, as well as to understand what's going on in the class. Where did I go wrong and how can I improve more? So that is actually what we are looking at when we provide feedback. And there's no point if we just have to keep all the assignments at the end of the semester without returning the assignments. That's going to be very bad, isn't it? So using blended learning approach, this is going to be minimizing the gap because it's electronically given to them as a feedback. And of course, it can be of a report or quiz marks and many more. So this would be part of the critical benefits of the blended learning. And of course, the most important thing that we can see now would be data-driven decision making. So this is because of, say, for example, we're taking the learning management system. Our Brighton is capable to give you the analytics. Okay, somewhat like to provide visualizations of how the students perform in your class. And then on top of that, you can always click on a single student and always see how they perform. How many times do they visit your page? How many times do they access your materials? So this would be somewhat given as in profiling of the students. So you're going to see how they're going to, I like to use the word grow from day one of the semester until the end of the semester. He or she may have completed the training or perhaps have completed the whole course. So there goes the package of experience that you have provided, such that they actually access the course diligently. So enough said about the benefits of the blended learning. So now let's talk about the one that we need to focus on. So there are many things that we have seen so far. When it comes to tools or technology, there are plenty, but rest assured that sometimes if we pick the wrong tool, then it's not going to be something which is perfect, or perhaps it can be serving all the students' need. And you're going to be the lecturer or the instructor, which is going to be, huh, just depending on just one tool. And then you seem to be, can I say, clingy, right? So you are very comfortable using one particular tool, but the students may not see it that way. They want it to be of a different approach, for example. So today we're going to discuss more on Padlet and Mentimeter because these are the ones subscribed by Uniten. For your information, Padlet can be used by any faculty member. Okay, it has been there ever since like 4 years ago. Yes. And we have Mentimeter, but this one is exclusive for our ODL course developer. So perhaps if you're a BL agent, then you may have the privilege to use one. So you can always give us a call if you feel that you're interested to venture into this. Now, what are Padlets and Mentimeter? So in terms of the different technology or tools that we are so keen in using into, straight away jump into using it, adopting it. So why not have a different perspective to see what can this tool do or does to our classroom or does to the students? So Padlet is a canvas. So it works like a sheet displaying all the materials at once collectively. And then when it comes to Mentimeter, that would be somewhat like still a canvas, but it displays a different style of collecting all the responses or feedback. And it works fine with many various ways of teaching mode, but somehow when it comes to selecting which one is perfect for which one, then we have to try to be acquainted first with the different package that they offer, right? So here, there's nothing much. So if you haven't got any account on Padlet, you can always ask our Digital Learning Center representative and they'll direct you to be subscribing one. So you have https://padlet.com, but this is for commercial use. So we have the organizational subscribed Padlet licensed, and you can always start from now. And of course, I did talk about the Mentimeter just now by exclusive use. If you're a course developer, then you might as well enjoy this. All right. So now let's look into how can we use them in our course. So I've tried using some prompts, very sure. Obviously, it comes from ChatGPT, but there's no harm done because we are here to compare. So there are plenty of things that we have. What do you want to do in your classrooms? Are you going to be doing brainstorming? So is this just an ice-breaking session? Are you going to do this and that all the time? No, you don't do that. Perhaps at the early part of the semester, you want to introduce your students to something. So these are the topics, and how about introducing yourself? So this is your brainstorming session. Use Canvas kind of thing. So Padlet is good for this. But Mentimeter wouldn't be having that because it works on polling kind of feedback responses. So it's like click here, click that. But we do have reflections at the end there. But it's not as friendly as a Padlet because Padlet seems to be working real time. Uh, of course, Mentimeter has lagging as well, if you can notice. For Padlet itself, you have many inputs at one time, and then you are able to scroll down the post from your students. So that is something good about brainstorming. So you can throw in some ideas there. Discussion. So you can do discussion interactively in class. What do? You are on Microsoft Teams, for example. You are performing hybrid blended learning in your classroom. And then you're going to project something on the wall, sorry, on the screen, and then you're going to be providing some questions. I'm going to have to discuss, what do you think about this theory? So is it something which is Okay, described as this and that. So that is interactive. And then you scroll down for further. Why don't you post some of your thoughts? It can be anything, throw anything, try me, and that is going to provide somewhat like a fruitful discussion. But for Mentimeter, I'm afraid that we don't have anything like that. But I don't say that it is limited in that way, but you have just to twist on the nature of the question. So when it comes to reflection, so that would be the discussion you're looking for. And for multimedia presentations, Padlet is good for this because it seems like when I'm going to show you later, when you want to start posting, you're going to somehow have so much of a list of including videos, including some links, including some notes, files, pictures, and many more. So those are going to be the multimedia presentation to you. So students are not going to be just cut off with the outer world from the internet. They're so used to the internet. They are that generation, so they're including more things there. They're not curated, yes, but it's kind of free for them to get all these resources under one canvas. So everyone will be seeing the same post and they're going to put their thoughts. But for Padlet, is not going to be okay for formative assessment. So because formative assessment that it is of the nature of a quiz-like, polling-like, and many more. So it doesn't have that feature. It's more of posting here and there. Reflection is the best, I can say. And collaboration, yep. So you can do that. And of course, we have many, let's say, for example, project-based learning, maybe some problem-based learning that you can post. There's so many jargons here, but no worries. Whatever that involves any activities that requires them to work in groups or in pairs, so that would be collaboration. So these can be posted on Padlet, but not on Mentimeter, unfortunately. And of course, you have reflections, yeah, and then it provides a lot of things, interactivity, engagement. Depends on you how you're going to move about the canvas for the purpose of capturing the audience or your students. And then you can always customize the layout. So let's look and dive into this. Okay, Padlet and Mentimeter. So are you ready? Okay, so there you go. Real life examples in the classroom. So if you see this, this is very, very much like a very, very boring kind of ice breaking, isn't it? So I posted myself, introduce yourself. So what do you do? Can we do an activity now? Let's spend like 2 minutes on this. What do you do? Ice breaking session. Post it anywhere. So it's a bit unfamiliar here because they have some changes. So you click here, okay? And then which one do you prefer? Do you like to copy a link to the clipboard or you want to put in a slideshow or get QR code? So I'm going to have to copy link to the clipboard. But before doing that, I have to change my privacy. So nobody else is going to see this. It's going to be secret so that you can write and edit. Do you want to write or edit? You just write. Okay. And then you're going to just save this and go back and copy link to clipboard. Now I'm going to get back to my Microsoft Teams. Hello, everyone. I'm posting something on Microsoft Teams chat. Spend 2 minutes to post something about yourself. Could you do that for me now? Okay, right. So while waiting for you to post something here, you know it's a secret canvas. Nobody else is seeing it. I'm seeing something starting to put on a post. Okay, so let's wait anxiously. So let's talk more on this. So we're going to get back here and there later while someone is posting. So without wasting time, keep on posting, yeah? I'll go back to this. So I'm going to open this link in a new tab. So let's see. Oh, it's just a hi. Okay, hi. Right. So what are the things that you can see? So this is the subscribe plan from Uniten. Thank you. And remember, there are many ways for us to utilize Padlet. Okay, so on top of what you saw as an ice-breaking session, you can use, okay, I'm just showing samples, yeah, remember, this is just a casual talk, so it doesn't do much. No hands-on activities, of course. So actually, this was in previous semesters. So this is based. Okay, they are working in groups, but they post all their solutions onto the canvas. And remember, you always have to get this. Okay, I'll put in color coding. So what do I have here? Can you see that? So it's an in-class activity. Remember, always be sure, be clear of what you want the students to do. Why? Because they don't have any instructions, then they're not going to be able to understand what are you expecting us to do. So this memory matrix activity is asking them to at least group. Okay, this is just a temporary group during that class. This is nice to do, nice to have when you have something like a 2-hour class, back-to-back lecture, because you have more time. Okay, else you have to just say, okay, after the class, you're going to just put in something on like a Dropbox on Padlet, and I'll see it tomorrow. So do you think you're going to have time to see it tomorrow after the class has ended? No, it's good if it's best possible if you try to assess, try to go through all these posts during that time. So this would be one type of posting. Wow. Okay, coming back to this. Right, so remember portfolio? Have you heard about portfolio? Yes, that is one type. Remember, a canvas works best with many, many things. You love pictures, you love images, you love videos. You can always put it there, posters, etc. Just to showcase all your achievement, you can do that. So say, for example, okay, sometimes I did realize some of the files are gone. You can do this if you want to. So this is to showcase what you had. So because sometimes you forgot where you place all these items and materials, so you're going to put it somewhere. There'll be one day, it's called the scanning day, for you to start scanning all your certificates as well as your letters of appointment and start uploading to Padlet, for example. So this is a nice place, okay, to put in all your achievement. Just like a portfolio. You can put all your pictures. Say, for example, photography. So you can put in all these nicely generated mid-journey images and then compare which one is what. So you can always vote. So that is also another thing for you to do. What else? Right? So there are many ways that you can do things. Um, this one. Once upon a time, I did a training. I can't remember when. So I should have posted in the date. This is nice to do. Ice-breaking activity, just like what we're doing. And then you can see something like small arrow. Can you see that? Yep. It's pointing to here, pointing to there, and then there's a label. So this kind of activity calls for note sharing kind of practices. Say, for example, student one says, I'm going to provide a summary or a note making for chapter one. And then it's going to be posting on Padlet. And then another student is going to just complement the previous students with another note with chapter 2, and then they're just going to put in some of this. So yep, so you can do that. And of course, it's also an embedded Padlet in Padlet. So there's so many things that you can do. This is just an ordinary Padlet, and then if you click this, it goes to another Padlet. So this is very nice because they are going to recall the rest. Okay, wherever they are, because they are linked. You provide the links, and then you're going to get all this. All right, so that's just one particular example on collection of notes, collection of interesting things. Okay, just like how you manage your journals. Not journals, writing journals, your journals when you're writing something that you like, trying to collect the occasions of the day, and this would be something that you might want to put in. Okay, so it is pointing to a different link, pointing to a different Padlet. So you can do that. Okay, so portfolio I've already covered. And let's look into what else. Because all of us are lecturers, yeah. So what we can say. Pardon me, because I believe sometimes it's because of the setting that I'm seeing somebody else's Padlet, but I'm not going to show these Padlets to you. Yeah, so I'm just gonna use mine. So say, for example, we have this Farah Jasmine. She is my project student. So this is where we become creative. Can you see that? This is very messy. Can you see that? Yeah, very messy. It's here and there. New literature review. Suddenly there's a progress report feedback. And then how are things going on? Once in a while, you're going to be like teasing your students because you haven't been hearing from them. And of course, here you can see the feature to rate. Okay, so post something and then you can rate. Yes, and then good collection, but I believe I've grown out of this liking because they are not in grid or shelf pattern. There are many ways for us to organize this particular Padlet. So they're everywhere. It's not somewhat arranged, okay, in a manner. Okay, let's look into another one. Okay, when I started to see, who do you want to pick? My current student, Naim. Okay, so we become better when it comes to aggregating these different canvas. So you have your different shelves. That means, okay, discussion here. Naim, I want you to prepare this and that. And then your meeting resources. So you have it, this is draft. And then, okay, he has been interactive as well. So then we have some meeting recording because sometimes you need to do some sketch, etc. So it's recorded. So it's easy for them to keep track. So this is preparation. Alhamdulillah, he has been doing this. And this is providing samples from the previous students. And this is his draft. And feedback, okay, color coding. So that is easy for you to say. And then literature review. So what happens to them? They are all put into one place. So this is going to be nice for us to track and trace. And then we can keep a record. Whatever that they are reading, we might as well as reading them for pleasure. So the thing is that we are on the same page. So let's keep it that way. So that is for Naim. I haven't touched on collaborative work in any kind of the course. I want to see, once upon a time it was capstone. Okay, there's a recent capstone project. I can't remember where because it has changed its name. Okay, so this one is okay. So capstone design 403. The students, it has the same kind of impression just now, but the one previously was for a single student. So he or she is just interacting with me. But for this Padlet itself, we allow collaboration. So that means whatever that their friends are posting or their peers are posting, they can share the same resources and they can throw in their thoughts. So that is something that you can observe because when it comes to the integrated project design or capstone, so you are supposed to observe the behaviors of the students, collaborating, discussing who has the brightest idea and many more, and who has been taking the initiative to bring the group into another level. You can always observe from the posting in a canvas like this. So you are encouraging any kind of collaboration between these team members. And that's how you keep track. What else? Is there anything that I forget? Yep. So a part of that, Padlet can also host you, say for example, what I have been doing for the past few semesters, I have published the BL Gazette, okay? So sometimes, it's in the email and sometimes it's even in the laptop, but you do not want to miss anything. So you want to have a quick place for you to retrieve this kind of information. So all this would be published in terms of timeline, okay, timeline basis. So you have which one is which one, the predecessor, and then which one comes next, and many more. So those are timeline kind of canvas preparation. So you can do that. And then after you have done this, you can also showcase to your peers or your colleagues if you want to. So in the case of TLC, we are sharing this as a resource. Right. So that's another one. Okay. So I think that's all for what we can do with Padlet. Because some of them are just merely some reflection. Okay, I believe I do have reflection, but I want to show with you. There's so many things there. What do we have here? Ooh, reflections for semester 1 2021. Ah, so you can always have this kind of reflections. So according to Putri, for example, she said that this course is interesting, but sometimes they're just forced to do so. And we want to know what they love to do, which part which is not of their liking, and which part do they want us to improve. And then you can always have that. So this is reflection. So when it comes to reflection, some of them are philosophical and they are just showing us the other side of the student. So that is wonderful. Okay, you get to know the students closer and you becoming more human because this is something that you don't see most of the time in the classroom. You only see the whiteboard, you only see the student's face. Okay, what do? They simply say, okay, just sitting there without expression, no smiling, no nodding, no nothing. So that is something that you are going to appreciate for the rest of your life when it comes to Canvas. Yes, so that would be on Padlet, right? So how to start quickly. So I'm just going to use a teaser for you because we still have the Mentimeter to do so. Let's make a Padlet. So this is where you can do a lot of things and it's becoming more colorful and more interesting when it comes to the choice of choosing which one suits you liking, or perhaps the purpose of your assignment, your kind of instruments, etc. So simple format, use Canvas. Also, you can see all these arrows here and there. Yep. So timeline, the one which was shown just now, BL Gazette. Then you have grid like, so you can ask them, which post or reflection is the best? So please vote. You can do that. They love something which is involving their opinion as well as their feedback. So those are going to be welcomed. Stream, this is very not nice. Can I say that? Because this is just, okay, one blunt kind of okay expression from the students, but it's okay if it were to be like photos that you want to for them to see in detail or try to express themselves, write a reflection based on something. So that is what is good for. Wall is unorganized, but I believe you saw what happened when it comes to I went managing the project student just now using wall feature. So it did go very well because it's everywhere. So I would recommend you to use something like a shelf, this one. Okay, put in the literature review, put in the discussion, put in all the reports, etc. So there's another interesting feature. You can use map. So map would be just like for ice breaking perhaps. And then if you want the students to start brainstorming for the ideas, where are they coming from? Yes, you can use map or start putting or placing some of their important review coming from where the source, okay, the origins. So you can start pointing to map. So this is also a nice feature. There's also advanced formats, okay, but it's just a combination of the rest. So just be creative when it comes to the Padlet organization. Organization is a must, but be mindful which one is good or preferred for the type of assessment, the type of work activities that you want to put in the class. So this would be something going together. So sometimes it beats the purpose and students are going to just say, it's all haywire, it's chaotic kind of Canvas. So this would be something that you want to dismiss. All right. So I believe um, it's supposed to be interactive. I'm wondering why it's so quiet out there. So let's try to figure out what happened at Viva la Vida. I've got a cat. Hello, this is Manja. Okay, nice cat. I should be posting my cat face too. Hello, Mr. Karim. Okay, hello. Okay. Yes, I can guess. Hello, To. And this is a hi. So what do you do if it's anonymous? So you plan to get to know that person more, isn't it? Hi, Primila. Hello. Nice meeting you. So that's about all that we can give some time for Padlet. So now I'm going to move to Mentimeter Do you have any question? So can somebody pick any question from, okay, from Microsoft Teams chat, or you can always unmute yourself in order for you to speak up. Don't be intimidated. It's just Padlet. It's not going to bite. All ears. Yes, Dr. To. Can't
Hi,
hear
Dr.
ya.
Jana. I
Hello.
have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Loud and
in
clear.
this palette, when I create something, so
Mm-mm.
everyone can see, like what you showed just now is like a lot of, am I get you right? Or it is personal, only because those are your students, so then you can view them. Ah,
These are mine. But at the
oh,
same
okay.
time, I can see somebody else is coming into my feed. Dr.
Oh,
Zolmans, Dr. Tahara is also here, but I did not contribute to them, to their Padlet. It's just that the setting, remember the setting? Let's go to the
oh,
setting, okay? Or
okay.
else the whole organization is going to see you. But you want to keep it secret.
Okay.
Okay, so go to sharing, change privacy.
Oh, I see.
Okay,
Okay, thank you very much.
private is only for you. Nobody else is going to do that. I mean, to access it. Organizational wide, I think this is because of, I think it's the setting just now that you are able to see somebody else's Padlet. You can use a password, but this is a hassle, yeah? Try not to use password because sometimes when the students lose the password, there you go. You're going to buy some time for them
Ah,
to come in. So most of the
so
time, I keep it secret.
okay, sorry
Okay?
to interrupt. So when I want to post this with my student, so
Yeah.
which setting I should use? Secret, is it? Like what you
Uh,
demo now? With
yeah,
a
I
class
just
of
use secret.
student. Okay.
Secret means that this is secret to us. It's just like me and you, Dr. To. So
Ah,
now I'm talking to you. I'm showing you my Padlet. I share my link to the secret Padlet. You can still access because we are sharing the same secret, sharing the same
okay.
link.
So meaning when
Okay.
I create with my student, a class of
Yeah.
student, so I need to
You
set
share the link.
secret and share the
Yes,
link to
yes,
them.
yes, yes.
Oh, okay.
But
Thank you very much.
unless the student share the secret link to somebody else, then another student is going to just get into your canvas.
Ah, okay,
Ah,
okay.
okay.
Thank you.
All
All
right,
right.
no problem. But I would recommend you to use secret, else everybody knows what you're doing. All right. So go back to
Uh,
close.
yeah, Dr. J, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Dr. Johanna?
Hello, Dr.
Vivian?
Vivian. Yes, yes.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, right? So this
Yeah.
is because I can see that you access via institution, right? Account, isn't it?
Yes, yes, yes. This is a
Ah,
University Tenaga Padlet
all right.
.org. Yeah.
So does it mean that all of us can access, I mean, using institution access as institutional
Yes.
access, is it?
Yes, yes, it is. Once upon a
Okay.
time, 5 years back, I remember that we have to open our own account, padlet.com.
Uh-huh.
And then
Yeah.
once Uniten subscribed to the organizational Padlet, so we migrated all the personal Padlet to the organizational Uniten Padlet.
Oh,
So
but when I
everything has
access,
been transmitted. Yeah, and
okay, so
transmitted. Transferred.
I do have an account, all right. So
Yeah.
I'm using this. I log in using Uniten the email address.
Mm-hmm.
So meaning that it will be automatically recognized or what?
No, no, no. You have to request.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Request
So
from
to do,
request.
do not simply do something like the Microsoft Office. This one
Uh-huh.
you have to go personally and request from our DLC team.
The
Okay.
DLC, yeah.
No, not TLC. Digital Learning
Digital
Center. Yeah.
Digital Learning Center.
Yes.
So I request from them DLC,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
So the
It's okay.
person
I'm
in
going
charge.
to. I'm going to after this interesting chat today, I'm just going to blast the promotion. Okay, get one Padlet account, Uniten
Uh-huh.
account, and then
All
blast it
right.
using email. Thank you, Dr. Vivian.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you for your help. Okay,
okay.
bye-bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye. Anybody else? I want to go jump into Mentimeter. Right, so if you do have any burning questions, we'll get back to you later. So now, enough about Padlet. Let's migrate to Mentimeter. Yes. So what do you see? This is pretty new. They have templates, of course, and I want to straight away go to the presentation. And remember, the nature of Mentimeter is more of polling or reflection, voting kind of experience. So most of the time, it would provide something like that. It's best possible for formative assessment. What is the difference between formative and summative assessment? Formative is that you are going to teach something and then you're going to stop for a while and ask for an instant feedback then, or treat it as a quiz or having a test and then sum them all together at the end of the semester, and that is summative assessment. So that is the name. So for Mentimeter, you use it for formative assessment. And so say for example, it's good for reflections, yeah? So let's see which one is which one. Formative assessment still. So do not participate, yeah, because this has been through. So I'm just going to present to you. All right. So I was asking at the end of the lecture, students, how many IB4 classes are there? So they're going to have to just choose. And then you need to know some of the students, not some, 4 who participated, mentioned that still they do not understand fully the concept of the IP address in my context of the teaching. So what happens next? They love it because you provide gamification. So they are chasing each other. So this is somewhat like, of course, there's a rabbit here. So he is the fastest, happen to be the fastest, but they love competing with each other. So this is like an element that they're looking forward to. So use Mentimeter when you have short quizzes, or perhaps you just want to have an instant feedback. A show of hands. Sometimes you just say, how many of you love this and that? How many of you have read these articles? So show of hand. So enough about that. How about using Mentimeter so they can straightway vote? So you can do that, right? So this is, okay, trying to gauge the understanding of the students, right? So unfortunately, some of my students did not really understand what happens with this question. So I believe I have to reteach the concept, and then that is somewhat coming from the results of the assessment. So instantaneous feedback. So this is what we hope for when it comes to Mentimeter being useful. Right, so that's one. So let's look into, I have to go back and back and back, unfortunately. Yep. How do I use the internet? There are many. Okay, what is this? What did I do back in 2020? I see, I did something. Okay, so let's present this. So you can always have something like this. Yeah, so you have post a question and then it's going to be like spider web kind of responses just to gauge. Okay, how does it look like? Yeah, so you're going to see this is a 5 Likert scale. How many of them love to do virtual learning in class back in 2020? Because we did not know the perception of the students during that time when we transited suddenly from face-to-face to online. So this is very critical that time. So you can see some of them, they are dissatisfied with whatever. So this is polling, trying to get their responses during that time, instantaneous. And you can always gauge on the next direction of the topic, or perhaps where do you need to go to after this, meaning which one to cover. Okay. Okay. So let's look into what else? Reflection, remember? That is the template. Reflection. Weekly pulse check. No. Okay. Reflection. Present. after understanding one particular week, and then you're trying to find out about the topic. I really wanted to know, how did you perceive what I taught in class? So this is the application layer topic. I have 33 answers. Show the answers. It's anonymous, it's fully not attacking on one student. So I believe this is a safe environment for the students to speak up, to express themselves. Well, we don't know who, but we understand if we do receive red flags. So here, what do you understand? So they begin to summarize. I want to know in their own words, what do they see? And should they have encountered problems with the topic, then they're going to just mention it. Okay, but this one is to ask them to provide summary. So that is understanding reflection. And the other one type of reflection is that you can always have them to talk about their difficulties of understanding a certain topic, etc. This one is all the positive sides. You cannot see what's happening with the students. Yes, so this is one type. And let's go back. I'm not very sure which one has that kind in particular. So let's look into, this is word salad. Okay, hungry now? Word salad, meaning you just give something which is not an ice-breaking kind of question, but more of trying to motivate them for the next topic. So this is usually being done in the first week of the semester. And what comes across the student's mind when they hear this and that, you want to know. So you are trying to assess what's going on with the students, not what's going on. You want to know the prior knowledge of the students before moving on to the next level. So this is what we have. Word salad. What do you know about network? Most of them, the bigger the word, the bigger the impression is. More of the students are taking this kind of option. So they're thinking about network is connection. Is that right? There's nothing wrong. There's nothing right about this. You just want to get something coming from them. And then they say cloud services, bidirectional. I haven't taught them anything, but they have shown that they read something from the slides and I was happy. Okay, so they were ahead before coming to class. So this is also recognized as being the effort coming from the students. This would mold the direction to the topic. Which one are you going to, how do you want to present your lecture that day? Okay, if they have known anything about the internet, they have come across this, but they want to know in depth. So you're going to talk about that more. So this is usually to gauge on their quick feedback as well. So that is the powerful technique that you can use with Mentimeter. Just make it nicer, just short and sweet. You don't want it to be burdening or taking so much of your time in the class. This one should be like 5 minutes. And of course, 5 minutes means that, okay, take out your devices. We're going to do Mentimeter, start scanning. And that's already taking how many minutes? 2 minutes, and then start voting. So just plan very well where do you want to place these particular tools. Right at the start of the class, only 4 students in the class. Where are the rest of the students? So they are not coming in yet because of in between lectures. They are coming, and then, but yeah, doing the waiting game. So remember, try to position all these different tools at some intervals. That would be better. Or perhaps at the end, that is the reflection. So that's about Mentimeter. Okay. Right. Voting is closed. Now, let's have to see let's look into the feature. Okay, so this is nice to do. Let's figure out. Okay, I don't want to use template. You are free to do so once you get your Mentimeter account. Let's have a new presentation, but they are going to push you into, no, not at all. So you have this. What do you want to do today? You have multiple choice question. Do you want to do word clouds? Is it going to be open-ended question? I ask, you are going to answer, or you ask, I'm going to answer. So it's up to you. And rating. So you're going to do scaling on a scale of 0 to 5. Sorry, on a scale of 1 to 5. How do you find the topic today? So that is going to be scaling. And then you have ranking. Rank the topics according to your difficulty of understanding to understand the level. So those are ranking. This one is harder if compared to another one. And Q&A session, you can always do this. But of course, I just open up in the class rather than opening this tool because it takes some time. So use it appropriately. If you want to collect the responses, and hopefully it does good to you. It meets the purpose. Do not try to do something weird, not really weird. You're trying to do overdoing it. You're putting Padlet half an hour ago, and then suddenly a Mentimeter, and then you have Brighton assessment, and then you have this ice breaking, blah blah blah. There's so many things. Students are going to be overwhelmed. So pick selectively which one is which one. Don't offer too much of tools in 1 hour. So that would be something to be careful about, right? So there's so many things, and then it can be of content slides, but of course you are very, very, very much inclined to use Microsoft PowerPoint. Yes, and then you have this kind of arrangement. You can start exploring, but I believe Mentimeter is powerful on asking questions like polling, voting kind of things, and even quizzes. So use it wisely, use it appropriately, use it sparingly because you don't want to repeat the same item again and again. Today's Mentimeter, tomorrow is Mentimeter. I'll see you next week with Mentimeter. So you don't do that. You have to try to use a different tools anytime that you want to do. Yes. Okay. So I believe that's it for my Mentimeter, and we still have time to conclude. All right. So coming back to this, I open up for a question and answer. And there are two things that we need to remember. So just a note, remember it's just coffee talk, nothing serious about it, nothing heavy. Okay. Conducive environment. What do you need to do? Before you choose your tools or technology, you are very, can I say delighted? You're excited. I want to use Mentimeter in my next class. So what do? Start introducing there and then. No, you don't do that. You have to communicate. Students, tomorrow we'll be doing Mentimeter. I'm going to test you on something, but don't disclose first. But they are aware, oh, madam is going to use Mentimeter tomorrow. I have to download this particular apps and I have to get ready. Yes, communicate. So that's something to ensure that this is clearly understood. Okay, remember, sometimes the atmosphere of the classroom do this and then they're just going to be reluctantly participating just because they have to. So you don't want to have that. You are going to avoid that by providing clear instruction. Do regular monitoring and feedback. How? You always check on them, do you? If it be on LMS, you provided quiz. Do you actually check on their performance? So keep it, okay, check regularly in a way. If you can see a pattern, again, you're doing and trained to do visualization, something wrong somewhere. This topic needs improvement. So tomorrow I'm going to teach about this. So that would be part of your duty. And then foster the online community. So that means they are getting together. Oh, we are going to have fun with digital literacy. Everyone is picking up on one tool and technology. Isn't it wonderful to use this in our class? So that would be building on everyone's skill. So that is the environment that we're looking for. But when it comes to engaging students, remember when I told you when we talk about reluctant, taking out the device and then coming late to class, and then they're going to miss the fun. So what do? You're going to have to communicate way before, and then provide interactive content. So sometimes the clicky button would be nice. This is Genially, by the way. And then you have collaborative activities. Make sure that they don't sit there all the time. Make sure that they know the neighbor in the class, and many other ways for you to create interesting environment. So at the end of the day, in my classroom, everybody knows who and who, where do they stay? But because of the reference of the Padlet, yes. But later on, they were close at the end of the semester because they have gone through a lot during the semester. And that is how you can engage the students, because we are human. So a human touch wouldn't do you so much harm. So collaborative, provide activities which is going to be entertaining. You do not come there and talk and talk and talk and become a clown. So that is something that is not to do, but plan ahead, provide activities, tell them what is the objective of the activity. So that would be something meaningful rather than here a piece of paper, now you're going to be doing this and that, and then that's it. No, it's not discussed. So please ensure that you have a bi-directional communication. When we talk about bi-directional, that comes from the communication term. It means when you talk, I talk, or when you listen, I listen. No, that means when you talk, students will listen and capture, digest, and then feedback to you. So that is something meaningful. Students think when they want to start asking you questions. So this is part of the technique and approach. Use the BL tools if you are shy kind of person. Provide gamification. You don't ask them to hop from one point to another, or perhaps run from that door to another door. No, you don't do that. Gamification can be done using even Mentimeter. So they get excited, especially when it comes to, remember the leaderboard just now? Who answered the fast and the fastest, as well as the more accurate ones. So those, they share that kind of sentiment. So that is something that you can provide. Yes. And of course, in terms of conclusion, what is the thing that you get from the coffee talk today? So when it comes to casual chat, this is the way where you have been seeing some of these two powerful tools introduced to you. You have been a user, I know, but how to use it better? How to use it selectively, how to use it appropriately. So that is something that you want to know. Padlet, good for collaboration, posting reflection, being honest about the feedback. How about the Mentimeter? You can go anonymous, but it is best for formative assessment, polling, voting, and also tapping on what the students really think. Why? Because most of the time they don't want to be known for their feedback. They're shy, they are afraid that you might pinpoint them. So that is, to go anonymous, Mentimeter is the best. So that's it from me for today's session. And I'm opening for Q&A if you still have time. Yes, that is actually the prompt, Q&A session. Do you have any question? Hello there.
Hello,
Or is
Dr.
it me just
Jehana.
talking? Hello.
Hi, Doctor.
Hi, I can recognize that, that voice.
Oh, this
Hello,
is me,
Rahmat.
Rahmat.
Hello, it's you.
Oh my God, I'm on the full screen. I don't have question, but I want to say that this is a very good sharing lah, especially on the usability of Mentimeter as well as Padlet. So I can see clearly the distinguished usage lah between the two software. So I thank you for that lah.
Oh, thank you very much for the
Okay, that's all.
feedback. Okay, thank you. Yes, Mr. Rahmat is from DLC. I believe you can always ask him if we can use the Mentimeter for our class. Ask nicely. Okay, any more? So I hope that you are excited if you haven't got any account. And also, if you are keen to know more, actually, you can use a lot of communication channel. You can just post on Padlet if Padlet, sorry. You can post on Violet if you want to. Post it here in the Microsoft Teams chat because it's not going to go away. It's been recorded, so it's there as a repository. Yes. And if you want to ask more, I'm willing to share the secrets. Okay, so that's all from me. Thank you very much. Until the next BL Casual Chat, remember to bring your coffee. Don't come empty-handed. Okay, thank you all. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And have a nice day.
Thank you, Dr. Jamie.
Thank you, Dr. J.
Thank you all. Can see that. Love you too, Mama.